Welcome back, everyone. In my previous video I played against R. Penguin, an anonymous player from the United States. He played the so Indian, he played MC2, and I introduced my pet line here as well, B6. I have many lines that are unique and that I have a special connection with. B6 is one of them. Now E4, we follow the main variation. Here I mentioned the most principal move would have been knight G2, and feel free to watch my over the board game against John Bartholomew for more details. He also made a good video when he annotated the game right after we analyzed it, so I urge you to watch it. In this position my opponent played the less critical bishop e2, and I mixed the move order a little bit. It should be more or less the same, but so what I played wasn't necessarily a mistake, but might allow extra options. I believe I took on c3 immediately, and it allows the option of queen takes c3. So I prefer to avoid it altogether. So let me demonstrate. So here, after bishop e2, I suggest the move order of playing d6 first, and only after knight f3, not to take and allow queen c3 once again, to castle first, and only after he castles to capture on c3 and on d5 and transpose to what happened in the game. And as I mentioned, bishop g4 is the way to get a more complicated game, and bishop f5 is a way to force equality in case white finds the right moves. So after he captured, then I capture this bishop. Bishop h6 is the best move for white probably, after which I play queen e4, and the position is roughly equal. And my opponent made the inaccurate queen f4, and I played rook e8, and according to the computer the strongest move would have been knight bd7, with a small edge for black. So I'm pairing for the next 5-minute game, and while we wait I'll mention that in the game continuation, after the following moves, my opponent played knight
started.
Okay, so I'll show after the game. I accidentally played b4, but it's not necessarily a mistake. I have to admit I'm not an expert on this line, but I'll try my best to get a good position. So let's develop our pieces. Let's go c4 first, grabbing some space. Yeah. My opponent is intending to go with e5 next, so I'm not sure whether I should allow it or not. I'll just play d4. Yeah, bishop g4, bishop e2. Well, the position is quite calm. White has a little bit of a space advantage, but black shouldn't be in too much trouble. I'm trying to develop my pieces and grab a little bit more space. Maybe b5 will come next. My next step in the development is to find a good square for my queen, and yeah, this depends heavily on his next move, so yeah, I'm not sure where to put my queen just yet. Let me just, I'll play maybe h3, force him to make a decision with this bishop. Probably he will take. Yeah, now I would like to take with the bishop. My next move is possibly b5. I feel like I got a small advantage out of this opening against FIDE master damjan04. I believe I've played with him in one of my previous videos. Okay, now I have to decide between b5 and c5. Let's go b5. So I don't have a threat just yet, but bishop a3 comes to mind. He will have c5, but yeah, he played it immediately. Okay, I can force him to get an isolated pawn, I believe. Or no, I can't. He can take with the knight. But it still looks good for me. C takes d5, knight takes d5. If he takes with the pawn, I will gladly take on c5 and play against an isolated pawn. Yeah, this is correct, probably. Now, should probably try to put some pressure on my opponent. Let's do queen b3. Increasing the pressure on d5, yeah, I allowed him to take here. I have to admit I misevaluated this move. And now, okay, I'll take on b5. Oh, but maybe he has this d takes e3. No. Okay, bishop takes d4. And I believe I didn't put enough pressure on him. Perhaps I should have played bishop a3 earlier. I'm still having a small grip in the position thanks to my queenside space and the fact that I'm attacking this pawn at the moment, but it shouldn't be too much. Yeah. I predict he will play knight f6, queen d6, and after which I will put my rook in the open file. Usually the file that's farther away from the king is the one I want to grab, to take control of. And now I want to double my rooks. I have to be careful not to get mated on the back rank as the queen is covering h2. So I will play rook c1, and after he captures I will have to take back probably with the queen. I could also take with the rook and block with the knight, but I wouldn't like that to happen. And now queen d4 or queen f4 makes some sense, after which I intend to go knight f3. Also knight b3 comes to mind, not sure. Let's see. Okay, I'll go to b3. My idea is that I'll play queen c7, and then I will actually threaten to take on d7 because my rook on c1 wouldn't be hanging. Yeah. He's responding well on knight b6, activating his knight, attacking my pawn in the process. I'd like to force his queen away from this annoying square, so I'm attacking it. I'm not sure what's my next move, but if he goes queen f3, yeah, now he attacks two of my pawns at the same time. Something didn't go right for me, but yeah, I'll go king z2, and if he captures, I want to go rook a1. So he played knight d2, knight c4, sorry, and now I don't see an immediate threat, but definitely the position hasn't gone my way after the opening. I'll go knight c5. I'm a little bit low on time also, so I should probably play a bit faster and try to avoid blundering anything. Knight d7 makes sense, knight d3 makes sense. Let's go to d3 and maneuvering the knight to f4. Yeah, rook e4 is good call. I should probably play knight f4 and sacrifice this guy on d4. And I want to find a follow-up, maybe knight takes d5. Also rook d1 makes sense. And if he takes, I'm going to take back, and d5 should be beyond the defending, and then the material will be equal, and I still have some small space advantage and maybe a more active queen. Yeah. So let's see. Oh, excuse me. a little bit cold today. Queen g5. Considering queen d4. Looks like a good move, but then queen e5 will force the exchange of queens. Okay, I'll just take on d5. Queen d4 is my next move probably, and seems quite better for white. I like my position. Yeah, he responds well.
Server announcement.
I'm not sure where to put my pieces. Go queen f3. Knight d2 is a little bit annoying, but not too much. I have 44 seconds, so I better start pre-moving a little bit. His knight is almost trapped. I haven't noticed it before, so he's almost forced to play queen e4, because if knight e4... no, this is also possible. I wanted to take on e4 and then play knight f6, but he takes back with a check. Okay, I'll go knight b4, threatening knight c6 maybe, later on. Queen f3, giving away this pawn but preparing knight c6 with some activity. Yeah, he grabs all my pawns. Okay, I'll take one back. Maybe try to defend the endgame. He was a little bit slow, so it gives me additional chances.
Time warning. Check. Check.
Yeah, so material is equal again.
Check.
My position is probably close to it.
Check.
Close to a draw.
Check. Check.
But I wouldn't agree to a draw under the time condition.
Check. Black forfeits on time.
Okay, so I won on time. Overall, the time pressure was a bit messy, but I feel like I was better throughout most parts of the game. So, yeah, especially around this moment, I feel like I should have gone something else, something like bishop a3. Let's check.
Connection closed.
I disconnected anyway. Okay, so I'll briefly check or show how I could improve on this game, especially in the opening, in the next video.